masculine and feminine energy. These concepts nowadays are so popular, especially when it comes to relationship content. And we often hear how women being feminine means that she's this soft, surrendered woman who follows the man's lead, etc., etc. And then when it comes to men, oh, the masculine man plans dates, is assertive, takes care of things, etc., etc. But then very few people actually touches the real meaning of the inner masculine and the inner feminine and how it really impacts our relationships with ourselves, how we live life, and how we experience our romantic relationships really. And when it is too superficial, it's not really helpful and it puts us in this performative energy. So many men, they learn all this superficial content and then they just think that, oh, as long as I earn money, as long as I take care of things, plan things, and take the lead, then I am enough as what I bring into the relationship. And then for women, they are in this, do I need to be soft? And then I cannot really express how I need or how I feel, or I need to express it in the way that is like so change it so that it fits this archetype of the feminine, that it's not me anymore, but I have to fit in this mold so that I am considered to be a real woman. This is not really helping. And what's worse is that this performative energy actually screws up the kind of relationships that we experience. And I can share with you that some time ago, one of my relationships was exactly the performative masculine and feminine. We both got into this relationship with good intentions, actually, because both of us wanted a relationship that works, and both of us had this stability, like stable job, stable life, passion for life. And then we bring this energy of, oh, what we should be doing or what we should do to be considered, being able to have this successful relationship. But that is exactly what was blocking the possibility of a genuine connection. Because if he is performing and I am performing, we both have a mask, then we are just, interacting with each other's mask, and our hearts are like behind the masks. They are not really connecting. And of course, that relationship, even if we had all the things that look good on paper, at the end of the day, it just led to nowhere because we couldn't connect. So, the thing about the masculine and feminine inside of us is that we all have part of us that are masculine, as in assertive, as in taking the lead, understanding like how can I make my dreams happen? How can I live the life that I want? How can I make things happen in the way that will be successful? And this part of us is the part that also protects what's important, that wants to, create this container, create this life, so that what's really important of our heart, of our feminine, can be protected and can expand. And really, our inner feminine is about our hearts, about our inner essence. Like, what is our soul really? What is our values? What is truly important for us? And for me, for example, love is important. The love, the genuine love I have for my child, for my loved ones. And I want to have more of that. I want to experience more of that. I want to have connection with my partner. I want to really be with him in the way that is really true and authentic. And these desires, these needs from the heart, that is my feminine essence. And many women, you see, what they don't understand is the feminine essence can be so colorful, can be so, multidimensional. It's not just about this softness. It's also about this, I have this excitement and I'm really passionate, for example, for a cause, to help other women, to help other children, to help other animals. All this passion, like for example, even for my engineer women, like having this passion for her purpose, like I want to contribute to humanity in these ways. This, this strong, this strength, this is also feminine. It's not just the passive feminine that allows everything to happen. This is just one side of the feminine. But there is another side that is fierce, really, and that she's not really okay to sacrifice authenticity. And she's really ready to be this tsunami wave, this thunderstorm, if there's something that is not really going well and it's not really authentic. So, in relationships, when we want a relationship with the other person, we often actually are resonating more with people who are complementary to us. So, for example, if you're more and more in tune with your feminine essence, then you actually resonate more with complementary men who is more in his masculine. Because deep down, what we seek for is complementary strength, so that when we come together as a unit, we are both amplifying the different parts of ourselves. So, what my feminine heart desires, the more I tap into it, is that I find it really attractive. I really resonate with the man who is the complementary of it, that resonates with my inner masculine energy. And at the same time, it's the bigger version, even if it's the amplified version. And for example, what men they often want in a woman is this feminine woman. But it's not just about, oh, the woman being soft or whatever. It's the woman whose feminine essence resonates with his feminine essence. So, what does this mean without sounding so abstract? Is that men often, when they see this woman who is his type, is usually the kind of woman whose feminine essence is really amplified version of their heart. So, for example, if a man really loves the kind of woman that is family oriented, that is, really enjoying this, making a house a home, then he naturally, like if this his inner core values, which is his inner feminine, he will find women that carries these values, like a woman who is really good with the kids. For him, it's like immediate attraction often because it resonates with his inner feminine. And for example, a man who loves women who are very independent, who has her own passion going on, who has her own business but out of her passion, like this diva really archetype that is confident, is not afraid of showing her fierce side, then if he really loves this kind of woman, and then he would resonate with the inner core values because he would see that independence and being confident with what you want and not afraid of getting it. This is his heart's values, really. So when he sees a woman that is like showing all these values, expressing all these values externally, then he would like immediately resonate with it, and that's why it's his type. And for women also, like when you have certain masculine qualities, like for example, let's say that you how do I explain it, like let's say that you are used to um, make things happen, plan things in a certain way, like you have a certain way of doing things. Or maybe you are used to, for example, witnessing your father, your brother, your grandpa, I don't know, the man in your life doing things in certain ways, like having a certain kind of integrity and carrying on like that. For example, if you are a woman who values honesty, integrity, and people saying things and then doing it, then when you see a man who expresses these traits in a amplified version, then you will find that it's really resonating with you, because you feel that, okay, this is what my inner masculine traits, it's really resonating and it's really valuing. And understand that if, for example, you have these values of integrity, of how you do things, how you make things happen, and you have high integrity, then you wouldn't resonate with men who are, for example, wishy-washy, inconsistent, says one thing but never really does it. You will feel this turn off, even if you are not knowing him fully. If you can sense it subconsciously, you will already not really resonating with it and you find it a turn off. So now let's talk about knowing this. How does it actually impact your life, right? So one of the things that I realized and that I learned is that when I resonate with certain types of men, like I can try to understand why is it that I am resonating with a type of man. And for example, if I am resonating with inconsistent men, let's say, then what is it in me that is resonating with them? So I would realize that, okay, maybe there are parts of me in my life that I am not really consistent. Maybe there are things that I thought I was consistent, or I thought that I would do it in certain ways, but then when reality happens, I'm actually not as consistent or of my words, let's say, that I thought I would be. For example, maybe I promised something, but then in reality, I might not be able to even uphold the promise. And then when I realize, okay, and how is my inner masculine and inner feminine relating to each other? For example, one of the very common things is that I used to have a critical voice. Like, for example, if I feel something, if I have certain needs or desires, then my inner voice would be, oh, maybe this is too much. Maybe I shouldn't bring that out. And this is my masculine and feminine, like my rational masculine side and my emotional feminine side are interacting with each other. And the moment I changed how I talk to myself, like, hey, okay, this is not the way that I want to talk to myself. And I want to understand more, where do my needs and desires come from, even if I'm scared to embrace them, right? Even when I am afraid of my emotions, if I begin to come from a place of curiosity and really embrace my own emotions, then I am changing the quality of my inner voice. So now I am changing the kind of man that I am resonating with, because there is this classical pattern, one of the issues so common in couples, and I experienced that especially in my first marriage. I just married once, okay? But for example, when I married, then back then, my ex-husband, he was often resisting and saying, hey, you shouldn't feel this way. I already tried too much. Why are you still having these kind of feelings? And then, etc. And I was so used to criticism because I grew up in learning that, oh, I need to be strong. I only depend on myself. I shouldn't feel this way, that way. It's too much. Then my inner masculine and how my inner masculine related to the inner feminine, this pattern manifested out there in my relationship with my ex-husband. So he was not a bad person, but he was also not comfortable with his own emotions. So when my own emotions surfaced to him, it felt like a threat or something that he needed to fix. But I realized that when I'm begun to have a better relationship between my inner voice, my inner rational side, my inner masculine, with my emotions, my inner feminine, then the man that I resonated with is just more understanding and better with my emotions. So these are the dynamics that I don't feel that many people talk about because they are often focused too much on the surface level of the, oh, what is the masculine, what is the feminine, you should show up on dates like this and that, you should be in relationships like this and that, but then they are not really going deeper. And recently I've been going even deeper and deeper about this concept from young, and then really also from my personal experience, and then from my own learnings from the 2-year course on therapies on trauma and shamanism. Really, then I also go deeper and deeper to these dynamics, and these are the things that I realize is that often we want to fix certain things in our relationships. For example, the chronic fights that many couples they face, and then they don't know how to solve it, right? But then no one really goes deeper. Not even, when I was married, we had two marriage counselors, and neither of them actually went deeper to it. So, of course, we divorced later. But we are often on the surface level when it comes to this concept. But when we go deeper and when we look inward, even, how is our inner masculine relating with our inner feminine? Like, how are they relating and how we can harmonize them? Then we will see our outside world shift, our outside world change, our relationships. And for example, when you are validating your own needs and emotions instead of dismissing them, you will naturally change the energy of how you express them. Because I can give you this example that is so common, happened to me as well, is that when we are not validating our own needs and emotions, and when we are actually invalidating them, even like questioning the validity of them, we go to the other person already not sure if we could get what we want because it's not natural for us, like, oh, maybe it's too much. Then we go to them with this energy, hey, I know that it might be troublesome and all, but I would love to have dates with you, because I feel that we are disconnected, and then etc. etc. Why we over explain is because we feel this need to convince the other person that they need to do what we want them to do, because deep down we don't believe that we can get it. We are not confident about that. Then the other person, they might feel that, whoa, something here is not very comfortable, because humans are mirroring animals, they feel our discomfort and they feel discomfort and then they don't know why. So then they try to fix the discomfort by fixing the source, which is you in this moment. So then they might think, hey, maybe like I've been already doing a lot. Why is it that you're bringing this up? Am I not doing enough already? Why? Blah, blah, blah. And then you see, this creates a spiral of frustration and then defensiveness from both sides, because now you feel that you need to explain even more. And now the other person feels like they need to defend themselves more. And then at the end of the day, you don't feel understood, and the other person felt like they are not enough. And this is a big spiral. But imagine if I feel that asking for dates, needing more connection is just something really natural and all, and even good. I would go to the other person and say, hey, like I saw this restaurant and I miss our dates and I miss having quality time with you. Maybe you can come up with something like in this weekend, like it would be really enjoyable. And with this energy, you will most probably get a different response, because the other person would, wow, what is it? What is it? Like, tell me more. Maybe I can also imagine us in this restaurant or imagine us watching a movie together, going to the cinema, etc. It sounds juicy, And because inside of me, I'm already validating, it's valid that I just want more connection. And that's important for the relationship. And it can be juicy as well. So when I feel natural about it, then the energy will really come across natural. So, if you are struggling with this kind of patterns, I actually have the mini course, Relationship Rewired, the 6-week connection reset, which is a mini course which helps you to understand why is it that when you have chronic fights or you're feeling like roommates at best, why is it so hard to shift this dynamic and what you can actually do without necessarily, talking about the things over and over again because it often can make things worse. But how can you actually fix it in a way that brings in more emotional safety, emotional connection, and even attraction, so that you can have this beautiful couple bubble as the foundation. So now the interactions will be easier. So, yeah, if you struggle with this, check out that course because it's really helpful. And if you want something even deeper, I also have the course, The Art of Feminine Communication and Influence, which is going deeper, like how can you set boundaries in a better way? Like how can you communicate in the way that instead of resistance, you have more connection and intimacy? And then how can you also have him fulfill your desires and needs in a way that is juicy for not only for you but for him as well,